Hi, Zeus here. Today we're going to take the new Prototroop Shockaneer out for a test drive, and I have to say it works extremely well, and I'm pretty excited about it. So the first thing I tried the Shockaneer out on was a high-level operations base, a level 90 base called Strange Attractors. I thought it would be good because I needed a rifleman loadout to deal with the large number of grapplers on this base. So I've got a loadout of bombardiers, Shockaneer, riflemen, and medics with Dr. Kavan. Landed them all to the far left there, with the riflemen as a shield in front of the medics and bombardiers. And then I just started spawning riflemen because the grapplers are going to grab lots of them. And one of the problems with this sort of loadout is that Kavan is going to follow, and the medics are going to follow the riflemen as they get damaged. So I threw down some smoke and moved and then Kavan got grabbed. So much for Kavan. Anyway, but it's okay. We had a ton of troops spawn, and we're starting to make real progress into the grapplers. And it's progressing pretty well. So I was feeling pretty good about that. But frankly though, like regular riflemen with Cryoneers would probably have about the same effect. So wasn't really sure if this good result was due to the Shockaneers or just that it was similar effect to what I would have expected with Cryoneers in that kind of a troop loadout. So one problem I was having there is the laser was starting to get to my bombardiers, so I figured I would do a little regroup flare there, and that worked out real well. And again, with just that one grappler there in range on the right of the power core wasn't really a big problem because I had tons of troops there. And then once I had that flamethrower down, I threw down a whole bunch of critters because I had a lot of gunboat energy there, and the grappler is also going to grab the critters. So there's just no way one grappler is going to make much of a difference. So the power core is going down pretty fast here. At this point, the shield is down. The laser is getting through once again because the critters came around to the left, coming within range, so I threw down a health pack. Alright, so that was a pretty good result. I got my operations team 156 points. Again, I wasn't really sure if that was due to the Cryoneers or how effective they really were. So, look, I only lost a few troops other than riflemen there. Okay, so I thought I would try the Shockaneers rather, out on a level 70 high level base with some ice and see how that would come out. Of course, this base had a grappler and a doom cannon, so I had to take those down. But notice I'm going into battle here without barding down any of the rocket launchers or either of the shock launchers, which usually would be something that I would feel would be necessary with a rifleman, Cryoneer, medic, bombardier kind of a loadout. Although I did have two Scorchers in the mix there. So it's going pretty well. Lost one Scorcher there, and I'm noticing though that these Shockaneers are really shocking a lot of the defenses that are ahead of them. So my troops aren't taking as many hits as might otherwise normally be expected to be taken on this kind of an attack on this kind of a base. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And this base is pretty well beaten at this point because the boom cannons and the shock launcher and the rocket launcher are all shocked, and they're not going anywhere, not doing any damage. Unfortunately, I was a little late with that one critter box, so I lost one of the Shockaneers unnecessarily. And the shield goes down, and the HQ is still getting pounded there. Threw down some critters to distract. And it's a win. And then the interesting thing was, you know, how many troops I lost out of that. It really wasn't a lot. So I thought I'd try it out on a level 71 maxed out base, and even one with a shock blaster there. But I did a lot of initial barrage, took down the shock blaster and the laser there, so it was not quite as challenging as it looked at the beginning. But anyway, threw the troops in there and threw some critters at the beginning to knock down some of the mines, and off we go. So of course the riflemen are getting pounded by that one rocket launcher that's there on the far left. But the Shockaneer is getting about 2-3 layers deep into the defenses with its shocks. So pretty much the troops that are on the front line are not really getting hit all that often. Threw some critters over there to distract the cannon and the boom cannon. And it's going really well. I mean, this base is essentially beaten, and didn't really present any sort of a problem. So I was kind of curious to see, again, exactly how many troops I actually lost and of what kind. And you'll notice that the Shockaneers, we only lost one. So that's pretty good. Actually kind of impressive. Anyway, then I thought I'd try it on a max level Blackguard base, big bore. And, while this is pretty easy kind of a base for me, I just was curious to see, how the Shockaneer performed and, did it survive to the end. Get rid of some of the mines in the front there with the critter boxes. All right, here we go. So this time I'm just going to land Shockaneers, medics, and the bombardiers. No rifleman screen in the front. And you'll see the Shockaneers are pretty effective in protecting the bombardiers. So that was pretty encouraging. So then I thought, well, okay, that went pretty well. Let's try it on some test bases on Base Builder. So this is a configuration that sometimes hits you at War Factory, and it's pretty tough to take down without a lot of shocks. And you'll notice I just came at it with the Shockaneers and bombardiers and medics without any shocks whatsoever. And I mean, these Shockaneers just totally took it down. And only took 3 losses. And again, we weren't using any shocks. So I was very encouraged by that. Then I thought we'd try a little bit harder Blackguard base. And threw down some initial critters here, and then just launched in. I mean, again, normally you would take down all but one rocket launcher, all but one shock launcher, to make it a lot safer as you're going in to a base like this with riflemen. But with the Shockaneer, it was able to get to the rocket launchers and shock launchers and shock them. So they're really never able to do any damage to the front line of riflemen. Of course, augmented by Dr. Gavon and Second Wind. So that was feeling pretty good about that. So I thought I would try an even harder. Again, I only lost 15 riflemen against a base like that. So here, I thought I'd try an even harder Blackguard base builder base that I designed some months back, and barred down the front line of flamethrowers, critted out the rest of the boom mines, and then launched in with riflemen in the front, and then the Shockaneer and bombardiers coming behind. And you'll notice this base has got 7 max level mortars, 3 shock launchers, and 3 rocket launchers in the back, in addition to all those boom cannons to the left near the HQ. And the Shockaneers are getting the mortars to not shoot mortars, and the shock launchers and rocket launchers are being pretty continuously shocked by the Shockaneers and not doing any damage. So that was a really powerful and pretty easy win. So that was pretty cool. So then I thought I would try an absolutely impossible base and see how far the troop combination could get through this impossible base. I mean, there's just so many rocket launchers that there's just no way that you're going to get through it. But I thought I'd see, hey, how far do we get through it? And spawning some extra troops, but the Shockaneers have got all those boom cannons suppressed. And the only thing that's really hitting the troops is the large number of rocket launchers. And again, in this first test, I went straight head on into the base so that I was being hit from all sides by the rocket launchers, which is not a good strategy, but I just thought I would see how well the troop combination did. So we got a large way through the base before all our troops died. So that was pretty cool. So I thought I'd try it again, this time with a little more strategy and landing everything on the right, not worrying about some of those mines on the left. And being on the right, then you'd be out of range of most of the rocket launchers on the left. So unfortunately, I put the Shockaneers in absolute last. Probably not a good idea because they had to walk all the way across the back to get to the rear of the troops. But once they got there, they are shocking about 3 or 4 defensive weapons deep, and it's going really well. I thought. Now again, this is just this loadout unboosted, right? So if I had a boost going, I actually think I could have beaten this base. And then of course it wouldn't technically be an impossible base. I was pretty encouraged by that. It's pretty impressive. So I really like this new Shockaneer. I think it's got a lot of potential, especially in a combination with riflemen and bombardiers. Now you may find some other ways of using it. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you found a more interesting troop combination. All right, so that's the Shockaneer. Good preview, and I hope you liked the video. If you did, please give us a like and subscribe. And thanks as always to Hercules for the video editing help.